Right, so we were just going through all of the collection, cleaning it all up, making sure it was all nice, and we had a surprise, so come have a look in here. Our first eggs of the season.
Fantastic, Jared.
As you can see here, we've got one slug, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Looks like a lot of good, healthy, pearly eggs in there.
And what's the name of the girl here that we've got here?
So this is a girl called Toast. She's a single cinnamon female. And we bred her to a clown, because we're trying to get some cinnamon clowns. So we'll hit some cinnamon het clowns from this, hopefully.
She's a gorgeous animal. I spotted the ovulation a little while back. I wasn't 100% certain, but she proved to be fully ovulated after all. And the proof is in the pudding here, guys. So we've got some pearly eggs. So
let's find out how many we've got.
So what we'll do, Jared, is I'll film you lifting her, and we're going to just show you how we do things here. If I come over this side here, that she looks very protective of her eggs, Jared.
Yeah, might get bitten, hopefully won't.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. So this is the first of the season. It's a big clutch there, Jared. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think she's got at least 5, maybe more. And they look like they're good size as well. Now tell us what have you done with the incubator, Jared? It's, before we.
I've had it running, pre-running, got up to the temperature it needs to be, which is 90 degrees. 90 degrees.
So. And you've got everything prepared. We prepared one early. Do you remember we prepared one for our viewers?
Yeah.
And I said, wouldn't it be funny if we get blessed with an early clutch? And we have. So it just goes to show how preparation, 6 P's are very important, Chad, aren't they?
Yeah. So this is how we deal with it ourselves. So I like to have something here just to direct her head away, so I don't get bitten. I mean, might call me a wuss, but I don't mind.
Yeah.
We've got a holding rug for her here.
Yeah. So that's all been disinfected and cleaned.
That's all clean. So we'll take her off the eggs, put her in there, put the eggs back in here. Later on we'll clean all this out really well. Yes. And she can go back in it.
Yeah, she looks absolutely superb. What a clever girl. And like I say, the clown.
So you want to come in behind like this. This is how you do it. You put something over her head so she doesn't bite you. Yeah. Come in behind at the top.
A little bit of hissing.
And slowly unravel her from the eggs. Grab the back as well. Like this. Yeah. She's been a good girl. Do you see how incave she is? Concaved.
Wow. I mean, she was 3 kilograms plus.
That's all the eggs that have come through.
Wow. And you check for any eggs?
I check. So what you want to do is you just want to put your thumb here and gently run your thumb down. Yeah. And just make sure that there's no eggs stuck in her. And I can't feel any more eggs, which means that she's laid all of them, probably last night. Yeah. And we have a lovely clutch of eggs here. So pop her in there for now. Yeah. That's wonderful, Jared. Professionally done. Professionally done there. We'll check the eggs. How many eggs have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. Fantastic.
And they're still soft, so it hasn't been laid that long ago.
Yeah. Now, do you separate, or do you? What do you normally recommend?
I like to leave them as they lay, because the way that she's laid them is how it would be done in nature.
Let's go in and.
And if you notice, they're not very high, so they'll fit in this tub perfectly, and they won't roll about, and they'll be fine.
Let's just zoom in and have a look at this clutch. Well, they're good, healthy eggs, Jan, aren't they? She was a big girl.
So 2, 4, 6, 7 eggs from her.
That's very good. That's her first.
Make sure there's no more slugs. Yeah, that's her first ever clutch.
Yeah. So that's very good, Jared. You've got to be pleased with that. You've been waiting. What? How long have you been waiting for that clutch?
Well, this is the 2nd season. She didn't go first season. She went 2nd. So.
And they support each other, so there's no need to put any supports in.
No need for supports. If they were loose, I'd put these in so they don't roll about. Yeah. But they're all together, nice and firm.
And you don't mark them. There's no need to mark them because they will be sitting naturally.
Exactly.
As she wants
they won't
them.
Separate unless you separate them. So we'll get those straight in the incubator.
Yeah. Do they need to be put on an angle, Jared, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think they'll be alright for now.
Yeah. So they're going to shut, okay? It's quite tight, Jared.
I need to put it back a little bit.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So that's good, and we've got the temps showing there. So what's the ideal temps that you like to go for, Jared, on your incubation?
So we do it in Fahrenheit, just because when we started off we watched a lot of American YouTubers doing it. Yeah. And they all do it in Fahrenheit, so we just continued on with that because it's easier. Yeah. We like 89 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit when we're doing eggs. Yeah. Just because that's the recommended. I mean, you can play around with it. You can have it slower. You can have it lower temperature. Yeah. And they'll cook slower, and you'll get your eggs slower. We can have a higher temperature, which is risky because of kinking and stuff, and you'll get your eggs faster. But we like to have it a nice 89, 90 degrees around that variant.
And how long do you have the incubator fired up before you start moving eggs in an ideal world? In
an ideal world, you want to have it running for a couple of weeks to a month before you start getting your first eggs. But the thing is, you never really know when they're going to come. If you miss an ovulation or you think it's not completely an ovulation, you might not do it.
Okay.
So we've tested this incubator out, we've run it before, and it keeps temperatures pretty well.
I can't hear the fan kicking though, Jared.
It's a very quiet fan.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's
pretty very quiet, and it just...
It's nice.
It's a desk fan actually, and it does the job nicely.
You built this from scratch, didn't you? We've got a video on, if anyone wants to see how to build one, you've done one, Jared, haven't you?
Yeah, so I built that earlier on last year.
Yeah,
and
it cost us about, what, £300 to £200 for the cooler.
Yeah.
And then you spent another £50 for the fan and the
the heat mats and the fan heat mats thermostat.
Yeah, and the probes and everything. So
what we'll do now is a top tip: clean the female's tub really well. Okay. And not only the tub, but what she's staying in as well. Mm-hmm. Because if that female still smells of eggs, she's not going to eat for you. She's going to have her maternal instincts in, where she'll sit on her eggs and try and find her eggs.
Right.
And she won't eat. So if you clean their tubs really well, a good deep clean. So we'll disinfect it first, then we'll give it a deep clean. Yeah. And clean the snake as well. So give her a bath, make sure that she hasn't got any egg smell on her. She'll get back on food.
Do you want me to put the kettle on so you get a nice bath?
Yeah, just for everyone wondering why you're saying the kettle. We haven't got hot water in here yet, so we boil the kettle and we mix it in with cold water and make sure it's a good temperature, like 85, 86 degrees. Yeah. Nice and comfy. We don't put them in boiling water just in case. So that's a light clean there.
Now I've noticed that when you were changing the bedding, she laid her eggs on dry bedding, which is essential. And Rob made this point this week about how important it is that when you get girls close to laying, that the rubs themselves, they should be dry for them to lay their eggs, because if water gets on the eggs, it can kill the eggs.
It's like a wick, it will suck them up.
I've noticed a lot of people candle their eggs, but you haven't bothered, Jared, and what's your reason for that?
If they all laid separately, I'd candle them. Mm-hmm. Find out where the embryo is, stick that on the top. Yeah. But when they're laid like that, and they look that healthy, I usually assume that there's healthy veins in them. I mean, I might get them out later and check them.
But in theory, you don't want to mess with the eggs. You try to mess as little as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try not to disturb them.
Candling's fine. I've candled a lot of times, and I don't see a problem with candling.
Yeah, I think it's breeder preference. Some like to, some don't. If somebody
if they're loose eggs, candle them for sure.
Yeah, but a lot of the traditional breeders I know, really experienced breeders, though, they do exactly what you've done to them. They don't even separate them. They put them in there, wait for them to pip. They don't cut.
And the truth is, if you see a healthy egg like that and you don't see veins straight away, still incubate it. Because you could throw away a perfectly healthy egg that just hasn't developed all its veins yet. So that's my opinion anyway. So even if I candle them, they'd still be going in that incubator.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
Right, so that's the clean there.
Yeah.
Also, top tip, clean the top of their enclosure too. So under here, obviously, they've got top of the rub.
So do you actually put your F10 on that as well?
Yeah, so I'll just spray it on here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll go in and I'll clean up here, because the scent of the eggs will still be on the top.
Good point, good point.
And it'll still put them off food.
Wow. So it's attention to detail really, isn't it? Yeah. If you want your girls to go back on food, then this cleaning process is essential. And like you say, you bathe the animal for how long do you normally bathe her for?
Not too long, maybe 5-10 minutes.
5-10.
Give her a good wash, make sure that she's alright.
And water bowls and everything else, do you give them a good clean and change as well?
Yeah, so everything, new bedding, new water bowls, good clean on the tub.
Yeah.
And we'll be as good as new.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, Jared, I'll just stick the kettle on, and then we'll get the kettle on, because as I say, we haven't got hot water plumbed in yet, so we do rely on this kettle. And I'm going to just top that up for you, Jared, and we'll stick that on. That's and we want to thank everyone for the lovely feedback, and let's give a big shout out for Kaz and James and Lucas and Layla, because they did a wonderful video for us yesterday, 3-part series, Jared. And thank you.
What happened with the noise?
What happened with the noise is my mobile phone was switched on while we were filming, and it interferes with this camera, so it's my fault on that one, so apologies there. And so we do apologise for any feedback noise on that. But I think the content and the fun was definitely there to be had, Joe. I really enjoyed the evening and get to know the family.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys. You're just wonderful. So Joe's given this a good old clean now. You can see he's making sure that there's no trace of any maternal smell on that. That makes complete sense, Jared.
Yep, everything goes.
Yeah. And as I say, we can get a little bath ready for her as well. And we'll use a mixture of the cold water and the boiled water to get the right temp before she goes in.
Exactly.
And this is the other incubator that we've had last year that's a proven successful incubator that we got second hand from another breeder, and we found that this year we've got potentially so many eggs that could come that will take 6 and that will take 6 clutches. So we get any one time we can have 12 clutches. But also we've got Jad's first incubator, which we're going to use as well if we need to, which will take a couple of clutches, Jad.
Yeah, you'll fit 2 in there.
Yeah. So always have a backup.
2 small clutches.
Yeah, I think the rule, Jad, is generally with the 6Ps always have a backup plan in case one goes down. So if that new incubator doesn't do the business for any reason, we can move them straight into the other incubator, Jad, can't we?
Yeah.
That's always having a backup plan.
There's some rub that we'll
use that for your bath?
Yeah, we'll take it over here.
While you do that, Jad, I'm going to just give them an update on the dreamsicles, because the dreamsicles have shed, and you'll be pleased to know that they are now ready to move up to their new rubs. So here's Peaches. Look how gorgeous, Jad. And we're going to just see what she weighs before we move them up. We like to just see what's going on. So it's a lot of snake action today, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. And we'll just set the scales up and we'll have a look. How much do you think this girl weighs then, Peaches, Jad?
At least 650.
650? I'm going to say 750, maybe 800. So I'm going to go for 750, Jad. So it looks 850, Jad.
Nice.
847. So she's ready to go up. Yeah, she's ready to go up, and we've got a rub ready for her, haven't we, Jad? So we'll move her up. Do you want to just open that rub for me, Jad? We'll put her in.
That one's not ready.
There should be one that I've got ready. There we go. So in you go, darling. There she is. Now, she'll be able to grow to the next stage now. 850 is what we like to see before they go into the... Are these 33
litres, yeah.
33 litres, so she's eating like a trooper, and she's absolutely stunning, and she'll be featuring big time in our breeding plans. So we'll put her in there. I'll get the other one ready for the boy.
Which one's female, which one's male?
Females at the top, Jad. Okay. And we'll label them all up so we don't forget. The other thing, Jad, you forgot to mention, you haven't labelled your eggs. That's another part of the process. We need to label those as well. So Jad will show you what we're doing there. But this is all super exciting stuff here.
I just like to focus on the female first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you've got multiple clutches, it's worth doing immediately.
Yeah, we can take care of the paperwork later. So this is Bowser. How much do you think Bowser's going to weigh, Jad?
About the same. They both shed out today, actually.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? They're so on the same wavelength, but
they copy each other all the time. I reckon they're about the same.
Let's just see if we can take him out. So he's in theory ready to be bred. We can breed with him now. He's
a bit young still.
Yeah.
So it probably won't breed, but we could try.
I'm going to say 850 as well, Jad. 937. Wow. 938. My goodness.
They eat once a week, but they just put their weight on so quick.
Yeah, I think
some snakes do that. They're not power fed or anything. They're just.
I think because they come from such a good pedigree, because the original sire came from Justin Kabelka via David Russian, and David Russian bred with high quality stock, and we've picked up this pair, and look, he looks absolutely superb in there, Jad. What a beautiful, beautiful animal. Can't wait to get him into our breeding project. So we'll just move the water bowls down, and we'll get them bigger water bowls. We'll use these as temporary water bowls, Jad.
Yeah.
How's the bath coming along?
Yeah, no.
Good.
Just getting the right temps.
Okay, so we'll just put that in there for him, and we'll move his labelling across. There we go, Bowser. Welcome to the big rub sub-adult adult side. And there's the female. We'll get her water bowl in there as well. So you're getting some real snake action today, plenty going on, and hopefully this is the beginning of a lot more snake action, because as we start to get these clutches going, I've got this feeling that we're going to start to get a lot more snake action.
Yeah.
So just leave these in peace. So the females at the top, Jad, we'll sort that out later. And we'll go back to the bathing now of this lady.
Okay.
So Toast is going to have a nice bath. Check the temps.
87 degrees.
Perfecto.
So that's ideal. We'll get her out. Don't let her get bitten. Look how skinny she is now.
Do you know what? It's amazing how much they give. Don't they give so much? Do you reckon she's lost? How many grams would you say she's lost?
We need to give her away. Find out how much she is.
It was a good process to weigh them once they've given all their eggs, isn't it, Jad? And what's the reason that you would weigh a female at that stage?
So you want to find out how much the eggs weighed, and to find out how much fat she's lost and how much is egg weight that she's lost.
So a lot of breeders weigh the eggs as well, don't they? We haven't yet. We've got them straight on incubation, but we could weigh them. But I'm guessing they're going to be close to 100 grams each, and you've got 7. So let's say 700 grams.
Yeah.
So she's lost 700 grams plus the small little slug will be another 50. So there's 750 grams of egg weight there, I guess. And she was about 3k before she went, so I'm guessing that she'll be down to about 2,000 now.
Yeah, she
looks. Guess that?
Maybe even a bit less.
Wow, she's given a lot then. But yeah, I suppose she's been fasting for a while as well, so she's put all her energy into those eggs, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see all her loose skin if you look in there.
Yeah, it's amazing how small they've got. If you look back at the video before she went and the ovulation video, Jared.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? How they can bounce back so quickly, and so many of our girls last year bounced back pretty quickly. The key is if you do a proper cleaning like you've done, then the key to getting back on food is, and you'd normally give them a small meal to start with, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, she might take a bigger meal, but
yeah,
we'll try with what she wants to eat.
And was there only one meal that went to her? So we just put
just the clown.
Just the clown. Did you put anything else to her before that?
No, nothing at all.
No. So we've
last year I did. Last year there was cinnamon pied.
So if we
if we end up getting super cinnamons, it's because of the retained sperm from last year.
It'd be interesting to see what happens there. So thank you
get her back in her tub.
Yeah. Well done, Jared. That was pretty quick. No messing about.
There's enough stress for her today, so we'll weigh her tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll check her weight and make sure that she's doing alright.
Good point. Good point.
But she should be back on food soon.
Yeah.
Should be happy.
So that's the bathing done, and then the only other thing
so now we'll record the eggs.
She record the eggs, make a record, Jared. We'll show everyone how we do that. While that's going on, we've had some other nice sheds. Jared can get that set up, and I'll just show you what's going on here. Athena's shed. She's looking absolutely gorgeous. Very, very big, Jared. So she's doing well. I'll tell you who I think is going to go next for us. This is my guess. Is the panda girl. She's still eating, but just look at her, Jared. She went early last year for us. And oh, by the way, Jared, when will those eggs be pipping? Would you say the first eggs of the season?
We usually say 55 to 60 days from now.
So let's say 60 days, and we add that. Where are we now? 5th of Feb. So if we said 55 days, you're looking at the end of March, are you?
Yeah.
So February, March, so we might have our first clutch by the end of March, which is the earliest we've ever had, isn't it, Jared? Yeah. Okay.
So this was when they're laid.
Yeah, and you put the name of the sire down as well? So
yeah, so here you can see I've got cinnamon to the clown.
Put clown joker because we've got several male clowns.
Well, we've only got one single gene, but
yeah, just put their names down, it's always good.
I'll do that for you.
And the cinnamon, has she got anything else in her? Or
just cinnamon, plain cinnamon.
Yeah.
So now what I would like to do is just say, hey Siri, what date is 55 days from today?
It's Thursday, the 1st of April 2021.
April Fool's
Day.
So
we'll say 1st of April 2021. This is where you find out they're actually chicken eggs. So that's everything we need to know right there. We got 7 good eggs, 1 slug, laid on the 5th, bit close,
sorry.
Laid on the 5th of February 21, due on the 1st of April 2021.
Okay, and do you want to put some poker chips in there as well to get lifted at all?
So she's actually already at a slant, so at the back there's a little bit that's higher.
Right, let's have a little look. Can we just have a... So what have you done, Jared? There's the fan system.
So you see where the rack is at the bottom?
Yeah.
Behind there is a piece of plastic.
Okay.
And it already lifts it up at a tiny slant, so the water will all drop to the front.
Is it sloping towards us? So what happens is any condensation, we don't want to get any water on those eggs, do we?
No.
No, okay. And the temps are looking good, Jared, are they?
Yep.
Fine.
Don't worry too much about what the actual thermostat says.
And the fan is working, even though you can't hear it. It's a lovely sounding fan, Jared.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Jared.
So that's how we do our eggs here at New Forest Morphs.
Well, thank you, Jared, for that. Really helpful. Appreciate you going through the whole process. Is there anything else in terms of tips that you can give in terms of, obviously when you're touching eggs, you've obviously cleaned your hands and you've cleaned your hands before the animal. It's very important that you don't pass on any... The eggs look very clean.
The eggs are good and healthy.
That's another reason why we go for the paper version rather than the... we don't get much... what they call it when there's dirt and stuff on the eggs from the debris. What is that taken from? Like some of the cocoa husks, and sometimes
it comes off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what substrate you're using. If it's dry, it'll come off no matter what. Sometimes you can get paper stuck to the bottom of your eggs as well.
Yeah.
Because the eggs are quite sticky when they come out. But
those ones
she laid
pretty.
She didn't lay on the paper. A lot of times you'll find if you've got a cocoa husk or something like that, they'll move the substrate to the sides and make a little nest.
Yeah.
They do the same with paper. They move the paper out of the way and they lay straight on the...
Okay.
A lot of times. Sometimes they don't. But
and once the eggs are in incubation, what are your top tips to help them go full term.
Don't play with them.
Don't play with them. Yeah,
try to open your incubator as little as possible. Make sure you've got circulation in there. That's key.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you have to check your eggs a lot of times, but I leave them in there until like the last week.
Are your egg boxes got small perforations in anyway, so they can breathe?
There's no perforations in. There's 2 holes either
Just
side.
2 little holes.
Two
so
little
there's
holes.
a little bit of ventilation, but
Exactly.
you don't need a lot. Cause
you don't need much.
And the humidity level should be as high as 100%, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So
the vermiculite.
if you watched the last video we did, we've mixed the vermiculite with loads of water.
Yeah.
And we've put an egg crate on top, so the water ratio doesn't matter as much. So there's enough water in there to create the humidity we need. Good tip is check your eggs. Make sure you've got a glass front incubator. They work the best in my opinion, because you can look at your eggs without having to open the fridge or the incubator. And what you want to check is you want to make sure that the eggs aren't dimpling too early.
Okay.
So you wait until, I mean it's different for every egg, but closer to the time that they're going to hatch, they'll dimple in because the snake has absorbed all the yolk.
Right.
If it's dimpling before that, that probably means your eggs are dehydrating. You haven't got enough water in your mix, not enough humidity. So that's the top tip as well. Always keep an eye out on your eggs.
What would you do if you mid-term you're seeing early dimpling or you're seeing early drying out? What's the top tip?
I'd get some water to about 88 degrees, 89 degrees, and I'd pour it in the side onto the vermiculite.
Right.
And then allow the base to have a bit of water in it without touching the eggs at all.
But it mustn't touch those.
Don't touch it, and don't put cold water in either.
Okay, that's another mistake people make.
Yeah.
But if you were to put the water in there, let's say a touch of water did get on the egg. Let's say there was condensation and it fell on the eggs, and you
wipe it off as soon as possible.
You'd get a dry paper towel and just let it wipe out. And if there's any mold coming, there are treatments, aren't there, as well?
If there's mold, first thing to do is separate the egg from the others.
Yeah.
Because mold will spread like wildfire.
Okay.
So separate the egg, and you can treat it with athlete's foot powder.
Right.
Which we tried last year, but the egg was too far gone. There was no life in it.
You've got to pick it up early. You mustn't let it grow, and it can spread.
Some eggs will go mouldy. Some eggs might, like, the reason for candling is you can see veins that might not be there.
Right. So you might have an infertile egg that will go mouldy naturally.
That might look good. Exactly.
Yeah. We had one of those last year, didn't we?
Hopefully they all go full term, and we get 7 beautiful, healthy 100% het pies.
If we get some beautiful cinnamon het clowns, Jared, it's going to be fantastic.
Clowns, not pies, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be het clowns, wouldn't
it?
Yeah,
het clowns.
Yeah.
And then we'll get some cinnamon clowns in the mix, which would be nice.
Yeah, there was one other question. You put some water water in there, I've noticed. So what's the point of putting water bottles in?
There's no water bottles in this one.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find any that fit in the bottom. If you do an incubator, come have a look at the other one.
Okay. It's just this is another good tip. If you want to keep a more regular temperature in your incubator, because normally the heat rises, so your top temperature is normally at the top of the incubator.
No, it doesn't matter if you've got a fan.
But a fan will equalise it, and that's why we have fans for the ambient temperature as well, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. So
we actually have a constant ambient temperature in the room as well. Okay. But yeah, just talk us through why the bottles are in there.
When you open your door, heat comes out immediately.
Yeah. But you've got good ambient temperature though, which is another reason to have good ambient temperature, is that there's less loss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you've got a good ambient temperature, regardless of that, if you open your door, you're going to lose the heat because you're not having your room at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Open the door, you lose some heat. If you shut the door, there's no water bottles in there. You have to wait for the heat mat to heat it all back up again.
Got you.
If you've got water bottles in there, they're heated up to 88, 89, 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So they're already warm. So not only when you shut the door is the heat mat warming it up, but the water bottles are warming up as well. They're like hot water bottles that keep the temperature in there.
I got you.
So they're a good tip.
So there they are down there.
That one we built isn't quite big enough for water bottles, so we'll find some containers that we can put at the bottom.
Yeah.
Or maybe just cans of, like, I know you can get cans of distilled water, so maybe we'll get some of those and put them in. But anything that will hold...
I possibly avoid cans, Jared, because...
Cans of still water.
Oh, still water.
Yeah. Fizzy drinks.
Because sometimes when you heat cans, that can be a problem, isn't it? So you're probably better off staying with plastic bottles.
Yeah. But we'll keep you all updated on how the eggs do. Hopefully they make it full term. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
So, touch wood.
So, thank you ever so much, Jared. So, do you want to take the camera and I'll introduce part 2? And then we'll stop here and you can do part 2 later. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, big thanks to Jared. It's so nice to have someone like Jared on board because I'm learning on this process, and Jared's got so much more experience than me. I feel so confident when I'm working with Jared because he can share his knowledge with me, and I'm learning all the time. So, thank you, Jared. And hopefully, some of you new guys out there have picked up some good tips from today's video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay with us for part 2 because we're going to give a shout out to quite a few people. Got some new subscribers, and we want to be able to launch our 400 subscriber competition as well, and give out some free hats. I hope you're enjoying the hats and the t-shirts and the stickers. And also we wanted to just wish you guys a wonderful weekend. I hope everything goes well for you guys, that you see some ovulation soon. And that was a surprise clutch for us, wasn't it, Jared? Even though we thought she'd ovulated this morning, if I would have caught that on video, Jared's joy for seeing those eggs was what this hobby is all about, really, isn't it, Jared? We work so hard, 2 or 3 hours a day on this projects, and when you start to see the eggs coming, the snakes have this amazing ability to show their love to us, and they're giving us their beautiful offspring, and we're going to do our level best to bring them along with Jared.
Yep.
So have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you shortly, and thank you very much for supporting us on our channel. Thank you very much.